conversation, feel free to just chime in.
Okay.
It's a conversation.
All right. Sounds good.
Part of it. So you are live right now, and the eyeball is up.
Okay. Welcome to the cast at Glocker. Today, we're going to be joined by Zach Deirolf. He is going to talk to us about his nonprofit, Tyler's Ride of Gilbertsville. And then he is going to switch positions, and he's going to help me host for the rest of the show. And we're going to talk to Kim and Keith about their haunted house. They transform their home into a haunted house once a year. That's Halloween night, and it's free. Amateurs. Anyway, so we'll be right back, and we'll get into it in just a minute.
This is the cast at Glocker.
This is like the part where...
And we're live.
All right. Okay, so you're back with the cast at Glocker. I'm your host this evening, Jeff, and Matt is on. He's out of the screenshot right now. He's just working the technology tonight. So You'll be chatting with Matt if you make your comments and questions, which we hope you do. If you have any comments or questions for Zach or for Kim or for Keith, we would appreciate them. Or just hit that heart button, hit the like button. Facebook loves it, so we would love for you to do it. So let's start with talking to Zach Deirolf. He is the what are you?
I'm a co-founder of the organization.
Co-founder of the organization, Tyler's Ride of Gilbertsville. Can you start off by telling people what Tyler's Ride of Gilbertsville is?
Yeah. So in 2015, my brother Tyler was killed in a motorcycle accident. And I lived out of state at the time, lost a lot of connection with people back here, flew home. And I was on a Sunday. And then that Saturday, between Sunday night and Saturday, we had organized a memorial ride for him over in Pottstown, the Pottstown Walmart, where we started, and we rode down through the French Creek area, kind of had a little gathering there, and then everybody just went their own ways. But in that 6-day time frame, we were able to just gather the attention of so many, literally thousands of people, and we had hundreds of riders with us, and another 100 or 2 people driving cars with us. Just kind of.
Now, how did you bring this all together at that moment?
So it was kind of like right after that I was like
right after the incident.
Yeah, it was Tuesday, I think it was. That afternoon, there was a friend of my brother's that came to visit and kind of just pay his respects, his condolences, and offer some help to us. And it was something he talked about. He's like, "Why don't we do a memorial ride?" And I thought it was going to be like 20 or 30 of us just kind of riding around, and it just spread out through Facebook.
Now, is his friend there that kind of talked to you about that? Is he part of the organization as well?
No, so it was all just supposed to be a memorial ride.
Okay, just a one-time.
Yeah, the organization all came after the fact.
Yeah.
It was because so many people contributed and so many people volunteered to help. And then there was fundraising. There was people selling ribbons and bows and decals and so many different things that honestly, in the heat of the moment, I don't even remember all the different things that were being sold because I was mourning and focused on the ride.
Yeah, you had a lot on your plate at that moment.
And
sure.
And so but it all came together with such vast numbers, and they actually raised money for my brother's kids to kind of just help supplement with whatever.
Sure.
And so we thought, well, why stop this? Why stop now? Why don't we turn this into something positive and be able to share that same experience where people raise money for his kids? Why can't we do that for somebody else's kids?
Sure.
Okay. They lose a parent or us, and that's kind of how it started.
Awesome. And you said that was 2015, and so basically ever since.
Yeah, ever since then it started. We were just doing a motorcycle ride every summer, and within that year we were able to get our 501c nonprofit from the state and establish ourselves, which of course has policies where we have to hold so many events per year. So we switched gears and we started adding events.
Okay, so how many events? I mean, out of curiosity.
We shoot for 4 events per year.
Okay.
The ride and the comedy night are big ones. Those are sort of our established.
And the what? Comedy
night. Yeah, that's what's coming up next weekend. Those are our big ones. Those are what we've established as our like regularly occurring. Those are our main events, our main fundraisers. And then we've gotten loose over COVID as far as the other 2.
Yeah.
But now
it made it a little more difficult for you, right?
But and even the ride and the comedy night were incredibly difficult to pull off. The comedy night we just didn't, and because that's indoors.
Yeah.
The ride we were able to both years still outdoors, but it was tough. It was limited. My parents are big helpers. It's sort of our thing, the 3 of us, with a lot of regular help. But they had COVID the first year during COVID that we did.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So it was like all down to just me and my wife.
Yeah.
It was kind of last minute scrounging. But yeah.
So how does this organization help others? Like you mentioned that you help others that are in a bad situation that need help.
Yeah. We have an official mission and vision on the website, tylersride.org. But essentially we try to keep it vague as far as who we specifically help for a couple reasons. One, we don't limit ourselves to only supporting, like a lot of the cancer organizations get super focused on a very specific type of cancer or a very specific need. Right. And that's phenomenally for that category. But we have such like a broad idea of who we want to help that we sort of kept it vague, and we just help families who suffer a tragic loss in the southeastern Pennsylvania area.
Okay.
So whether it's a motorcycle accident, just sudden tragic death in the family, whatever it may be, or what the cause was for it, we're reaching out to those families.
So you reach out to them; they don't reach out to you at this point.
Both. We kind of look through the news. We find what we can. We just listen to people, our friends and our supporters on Facebook, and any suggestions that they have. We reach out and we sort of help the families.
And I'm sure if there's something locally, you'd probably pinpoint them.
Exactly. Yeah. So the southeastern PA region is where we're trying to stay. We are working on setting up a scholarship fund. We were almost there, and then COVID tanked everything. So we're trying to get back there and have a scholarship fund
for your brother's kids.
For any kids.
Oh, really?
So we can, any kid in the southeastern Pennsylvania area who has suffered a tragic loss of a parent.
Yeah. That needs that extra.
Yeah. Then we can get them involved in the scholarship.
That's pretty cool. That's great.
That is awesome.
Is your plan to have application process for that? Is that something you're looking at to do?
Yeah, there's a lot of legal boundaries and policies on that stuff that I try to stay out of. But yes, there is of course a process for that, and as we get things established, we'll be able to make those announcements more public.
So you're talking about the comedy night, which is coming up, right? That's coming up on the 5th.
On the 5th, yep. So this next Saturday, we're doing it over at Friendship Hook and Ladder in Boyertown.
Okay. So how does someone, like, first of all, comedy night? Who's the comedians?
So Cricket Comedy is the company that provides the comedians to us. This year, Buddy is the headliner. He was part of it.
He's just Buddy?
Buddy's his name. That's his actual name.
He's like,
Buddy. That's his name. Yeah. Real funny guy, and also just a really, really just nice person, all around good guy. The first year we decided to do comedy, we got hooked up with him. I think it was a different company he was with, but we got hooked up with him, and he was an opener for the show. And he just really took an interest in our organization and what we stood for and what we were about, and stayed in touch. And now, so we did it again a year after, and now, and then there was a break with COVID. And now that we're doing it back, we reached out with Buddy, and he set this whole thing up with.
Okay, and there's 2 other acts too, right?
Yes, yeah.
And you don't have to, if you don't know the names, it's okay.
No, I don't. I
have the overlay up on the screen.
Oh, do you?
Cool.
So people who are watching, Sharon, Simon, and Eddie Gallagher are the other acts.
Okay. So
I-
that voice is Matt for people watching. It's not God.
86.
Yeah, I go and I watch the event. So I help and I volunteer and I set up and I help and I sell merchandise. But from the organization side of that, that's actually my mom on the event.
Okay.
And I go and participate by watching. So I don't know these other than Buddy. I just I don't know these people. And I'm just as excited to watch the show as anybody else is. That's kind of the nice part about
How can
I've
you?
seen Eddie Gallagher on YouTube. He's pretty funny.
The name sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
you could look him up. He's a national touring comedian. Yeah.
So how would one get tickets to the event, or can you just show up at the door, or how?
You can show up at the door, but we discourage it. You get a better deal if you buy them online ahead of time
Okay.
at cricketcomedy.com. It's up on the flyer. And then you can get in touch with us through the Facebook or our website, tylersride.org. But we don't even have physical tickets anymore. The first year we had some physical tickets that we could make exchanges for, but now it's all done through Cricket Comedy.
Yeah, cool. It says November 5th. Show starts at 7 at Friendship Hook and Ladder in Boyertown.
Yeah, and then Friendship has food and drinks that we can buy there. So it's a cash bar and we have all kinds of merchandise that you can buy as well.
Cool. So you can go out and you can have a good time and fun time. I mean, comedy shows are always. I've been to many comedy shows and I've never been to a bad one.
Yeah,
Me either.
I mean, they're just
Good belly laughs.
Sets the stage for a good night. That's,
that's
for sure.
right.
It's
Yeah.
always a good time.
And so you can do that, and you're supporting a good charity that will be supporting others. So you're just passing it on, and you're having a good time.
Sounds like a win-win.
Also. Yeah, absolutely. So what if someone wasn't able to go to the comedy club? They want to donate to the charity.
Great question. Yeah, tylersride.org. There's a donate tab on there. And then there's merchandise.
So that's your website.
Yep, tylersride.org.
Tylersride.org.
Yep, and there's an e-commerce section there. So there's actually product you can buy or just simply donate if you wish. Sometimes it's not your style, not your taste. I'm wearing one of the shirts. I can't remember which year this was from. But this one was my favorite because most of them are crotch rockets. And this was the only one with a...
And that's how he had.
Yeah.
He has a what's that called?
well, I guess, I don't know. I
Lowrider?
would call it a chopper maybe.
Chopper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chopper.
Pretty long fork.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That's
You
what
ride
I
yourself?
ride. My brother,
Okay.
he rode rockets.
Okay.
And I did too before, but I like my bagger.
Yeah.
I like to relax.
I put links to the tylersride.org and to the Facebook page up in the chat. The Cricket Comedy Club website is streaming up on the screen along with tylersride.org. So people who are watching should have plenty of opportunity
Yeah. So
to get linked up.
So after the show, definitely check out all those sites
It's
and
all in the chat.
all right.
We do need some people to chime in on the chat.
Nobody's asking any questions yet?
No questions, or just tell us you love us, tell us you hate us.
Yeah.
Just let us know. I can
Still
see
saying.
most of the chat, not all of them,
Uh-huh.
but even if you're commenting and I'm not seeing it, it's still helping us get the word
For
out.
sure. Yep. Well, besides heading this organization, you also, the other reason why you're on tonight is because you have become a realtor for Glocker Realty.
Hey, one real quick.
Yes,
one
sure.
question. Do you guys have a Venmo account?
Yes. Yep. We do have a Venmo account, and you'll
Okay.
have to go if it didn't make it up to the website yet. You'll have to get us on the Facebook Messenger.
It's at Tyler's Ride.
There we go. It made it on the
Yeah,
website.
Score.
So you have joined the cast at Glocker.
Yeah.
And so how did this come about? How did you decide to become a realtor? Because this is you haven't worked anywhere else, right? This is
Correct. This is my
Yeah.
first my feet in the door as a realtor.
okay. Cool.
So I was really looking for some more work-life balance. I worked at Deirolf Plumbing and Water Treatment, and I'm still there for a couple of years, and I got my experience in a lot of different real estate transactions, being on, most mortgages require water testing.
Right.
So I got to be a part of and witness a small portion of a lot of different settlement scenarios. And then we worked with different realtors in the area, had hosted some lunches and some meet and greets and some educational training there on the water side of things. I got introduced to a lot of people in the business, and I really liked. Now, by no means under the impression that realtors have a light schedule.
Yeah.
But I did like some of the freedom that came.
Yeah,
with it.
you can create
Selecting
somewhat.
that.
Yeah.
Having some choice in that schedule, a little bit more choice in that schedule.
Right.
So I needed more of that in my life. You know, my family, we're home sitters and we homeschool our kids. And I needed some of that morning time to be there at home and be more valuable at home, rather than to be stuck at a desk for those morning hours that are so crucial.
Right.
So being able to select and do some of that work earlier before the kids are ready, and then take a pause and then pick up the rest of the work later was my biggest guiding push in this direction. And then just knowing Martin, one of the owners here, and what he does outside of real estate, having that connection there in farming was sort of the drive to approach him and Matt about Glocker.
Okay.
And then after meeting with Matt and Martin, I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere else. This is it.
Cool.
This is family. This is going to be family here. So
That's how I felt too. And I assume
Yeah,
that's how Matt felt.
I felt the same way. Like, I wanted to be part of an organization that was smaller, that once I learned the ropes, I would have some influence
Yeah.
on decision making for the business. And so far, I would say Matt and Martin have given me every opportunity to do that. You know, it took a little while. I had to learn what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
But once I got the ropes and
Yeah.
started making suggestions, I would say that Matt and Martin have implemented at least some part of almost every suggestion that I've made.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to get that at Remax or, Keller Williams or something like
Right.
that. I knew I had to come to a locally owned brokerage.
Which is kind of how we came up with the name of this show with the Cast Glocker. Now it's a play on words, like the Cast podcast, but it's also, we feel like we're a group here. Like we all work together as one cast, in a show, but no show. It's all.
I mean, I've been 2 months now, not quite, just about 2 months here, and it's very clearly a team, not just at sales meetings. There's so much more team behind that. I mean, I think every organization has their team at their sales meetings whenever they do them, but
right.
Yeah, like the quotes.
This is very clearly, and I've seen the ins and outs of those teams from the other side of the business.
Right.
So,
is there a certain avenue you want to go down with real estate? Are you?
Yeah, I really like having witnessed my parents. Now I have a younger sibling, a younger sister, and having witnessed them go from having kids at home to no longer having kids at home, and finally being themselves as adults, being able to witness that, and then also having my own children who are getting a little older, and knowing how much I look forward to that. As much as I love spending every minute with my kids, but I'm very much looking forward to some parts of that life, that having time with my wife again.
Yep.
Right.
And so seeing my parents be able to do that, I really would like to help more people with grown children get to a better living situation where they can afford to spend more time together and more trips together, rather than spending all this money on a house they don't need anymore.
Yeah. So transition.
Transitioning, empty nesters type. That's kind of it, and it's something I really look forward to and look up to those, and so it's kind of important to me to help them get to where they want to be.
Cool. And this Boyertown area is your main area.
Yeah, I mean,
I concentrate on. I know that we all go out, like the Tri-County area,
right? But this area, the Boyertown School District. That's kind of my. That's where I know. This is who I know. I'm familiar with a lot of areas, working in the field at Deirolf for a while. I got very familiar with a huge radius, probably about 75-mile radius of here. Got familiar with, like, I don't need a GPS anymore out in New Hope. I don't need a GPS even. So this is the school district that I'm comfortable with. This is who I know. This is where I'm involved.
Sure.
Even though we're homeschoolers, we are involved in the school district and the school board, and I'm not on the school board, but I pay attention.
Yeah.
And it matters to me. These people matter to me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not a homeschooler, but you're still connected somehow to the school district you're in,
Yeah,
right?
so we're registered through Boyertown Area School District. We're still a part of the school district. We pay our school taxes, so we have access to the school library and school sports and extracurriculars. Right now my boys are still Optimist age, so they're in the Optimist programs.
Okay.
But going into middle school real soon, they'll be playing their sports through the schools, through Junior High West. My daughter had some interest. She's of middle school age now. She's her main interest is art right now, but she did have some interest in some sports. We were looking at middle school programs there.
Okay.
So we're connected.
Yeah,
with the
I
school
thought
district.
it was. There's still a definite connection there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. And you're you're talking about home right now. I don't know anything about this. I was giving some notes and I didn't look into it. But you have an elderberry farm?
Yeah.
Is this true?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So it's in the makes.
Okay.
Right now it's mostly hay fields.
Okay.
with a couple bushes. But yeah, we're growing an elderberry farm. So we got
And that's a big thing recently. That's supposed to keep you healthy. Elderberries are supposed to keep you healthy, keep you from getting sick and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal homeopathic remedy for like so many different things.
Mhm.
But realistically, the biggest, from my perspective, and this is not a medical background, but the biggest thing was just immune health or immune boost.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, you got all these different fruits out there, these magical fruits with antioxidants, and you can find it by just eating healthy anywhere. But the elderberry is proven, it's backed, it's researched. FDA is getting involved. They like it. So after my wife got me hooked on taking shots of elderberry juice every day, we decided to try our hand at it. So we started planting some at home. We got bushes of decent size. We're learning, making tea. We got hooked up with a couple different options for processing and making the elderberry syrups. And I have a friend who's going to help make some elderberry wine.
Nice.
So, but yes,
That's the best way.
We're in the beginning stages.
Now, do you
but
get
we
a shot
have-
at that every morning as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, why not? Started off right.
Yeah, we're in the beginning stages of it, but that's definitely our growing operation over there.
Okay, cool.
Very
That's
cool.
that's pretty
That is
interesting. Is it really called Berry Mary Farms?
That's it. Berry
I
Mary
love
Farms.
it. I love it. All right. I didn't know where if my contact got the right information or not.
She's good.
Jen,
Yeah,
Jen's
she
good.
did,
She's
yeah.
a little. She's
She's
Facebook
sneaky.
sly.
Yeah, she'll find it.
Facebook slide.
Facebook slide.
Yeah, we're getting some comments from the audience. Javier Cardenas is telling you that you're doing a great job on the interview. Jennifer Ann, our producer, is all over the chat. Thanks for participating in the chat. Gypsy Chris has said hello. And Larry from Boyertown Ice Cream and Water Ice Factory would like to hook up with Zach to do a fundraiser. And his number is here. And I will make sure that Zach gets Larry's phone number after.
Zach, do you know Larry?
I don't know. Larry,
He
but I've
does
heard of
all sorts of. I mean, he's always doing fundraisers over there at the Boyertown
Yeah, I've
Water,
seen a couple.
Water
yeah.
Ice and Ice Cream Factory.
I put
Other way around.
his comment up onto the screen so that anybody watching that might want to do a fundraiser can hook up with Larry. So
He was on the show the one time,
He was.
and we got to partake in some ice cream eating, and it was
I'm
delicious.
jealous.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
smooth and delicious. I loved it. Yeah, really good.
You could go to YouTube and see our old episodes. How on that, Jeff?
You can go to YouTube and see our old episodes.
That's great.
Do you have anything else to say about Tyler's ride or yourself as a realtor or anything else before we move on to Kim and Keith?
Well, as far as Tyler's Ride is concerned, yeah, just if comedy is not your thing, check out the website, check out the Facebook page, give it a like. We lost a lot of Facebook subscribers last year. We got hacked and literally just lost the whole page. We couldn't get it back. So we're kind of starting from scratch there. So if you like anything about the organization or you like what you heard, just get on there and check it out and like it. We got a couple events and we're always taking advice. And as far as me as a realtor, I'm just really excited to get rolling on this.
What's your website or your
It's
Facebook
the Facebook.
page?
It's just Zach Deirolf Realtor. And then it's actually, you can just go to facebook.com/Zach D Realtor.
And then I'm sure Matt's going to put that on the screen, and I will definitely, I will have you, I'll have you say that again at the end of the show.
Great.
Awesome. So now you're going to switch places.
All right.
You're going to become the host.
Oh, exciting.
No different hat, nothing. Just
should've
turn
got
of
a
the
hat.
chair.
Now it's Jeff and Zach on as host, and Matt's still over acting as God over there on technology. The voice from
The voice
the
of
sky.
reason.
Zach's cute. Desiree's cute.
Is she related? Zach?
Hopefully it's not his sister.
We got a comedy club here.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, I was saying
Should
the
we
wrong
switch
way.
seats?
Please. Kim and Keith.
Yes.
Steffenhagen?
You got it. Very
Wow.
good. I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of myself.
You did
Yeah.
well.
I am very proud of
Yeah.
myself.
Most
Bart.
people botch that.
Yeah, I'm good at botching names and pretty much everything else. So it's Hagen's Haunted House.
Yep.
So I found out about this just this year, just 2 days ago, because Kim actually messaged me about my page, What's Going Down in Boyertown. She wanted to advertise on there. And I said, absolutely, sure. And as a little background, I used to do a haunted house when I was a child. My mom and my brothers would get into it, and we'd transform our house into a haunted house, and we'd have all these people that we don't know come through. And it was always a great time. We only had one little incident, and it was nothing huge. But it was a really good time and a good memory for me and my family. So I'm like, you know what? I would really like to hear what they have to say about how this happened, how this came about. So here you are now.
Yep.
And let's start off by saying, how did this come about?
So about 15 years ago, we have, he's now 20. So our son has Asperger's, and he absolutely hated trick-or-treating. And we've always enjoyed it. So
Along with every other holiday.
yeah, they call us the holiday house.
By the way, I like your sweatshirt.
Oh, thanks. And we were trying to find ways to help him be more comfortable and go out and trick or treat. So we thought, why not bring it to him instead? So we walked through a Spirit Halloween and we saw this Vampirus animatronic, and we brought her home with us. And we still have her to this day. She's the original. She's the only one I haven't painted because all the other ones have been painted. And we set her up in at that time, our dining room closet, and we gave her a whole scene. And we let their trick-or-treaters come in and let him hand out candy to try to get comfortable with the people that were coming through and the costumes. And at that time, he was very sensitive to everything: sound, smell, anything. It would just set him off and he would just fall apart.
I don't mean to interrupt, but he didn't like get scared inside Spirit Halloween?
No,
No,
just
he
Keith
was
and I
never-
went, but he was never really
He was
afraid.
never afraid of Halloween. It
things.
was the stress that came
Yeah,
with
the
it.
anxiety,
really?
It
the
was
social
overwhelming.
anxiety. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. The going house to house thing and strangers, all that
Yeah.
was stressful. And,
Yeah.
and
So
the
bringing it to
year always ended awful.
Yeah.
That night was always, a train wreck by the end.
Yeah.
So bringing it to him, actually, he was okay with that right from the beginning.
It did because
Yeah.
we learned because the parade goes right past our house, and he loved that event.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking, well,
Yeah, there's so many people.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's the same thing. There's a ton of people, so
Yeah.
we're like, if we could just bring some people in the house, would it work? And it did.
Yeah.
And it just kind of snowballed year after year.
So you
from
started
there.
out as a closet.
It
Yeah.
was just
And
a
how long ago was
closet.
this?
About 15 years
I
ago.
would say,
Yeah.
Okay.
He was about 5.
Okay.
We were flipping
And
through the
and how
photos.
many? Do you know how many people you had come through? About
It's probably just a
approximately that?
neighborhood, maybe 50-ish,
Yeah.
children from teeny tiny up to the older teens. It was probably about 50 people. It was one bag of candy. Now we buy 20 bags of candy. And we get a lot of donations from family, friends, and the neighborhood. Sometimes we'll come home and there'll be a bag of candy on our door
Oh,
from
really?
somebody that says,
That's cool.
pass
Which
this
is
out to
always
the
cool.
kids,
Thank
which
you.
is
Yeah, really
which is
cool.
always great, and we appreciate that. The community helps us participate in this because we really want to make sure we get back to the community too. And it's great because Christian has really evolved, and he's gone from being this child that was had a lot of social anxiety to he's bloomed into this wonderful young man, and he's an active participant, and he wants to scare.
Yeah.
So it's great. And he used to be he would hide, and like he could be sit real still and he would hide. And the girls would always be like, the werewolf was really scary. And I'm like, yeah, it's Christian. Of course it was Christian. That was really scary. It had to be him. Because we have a no touch policy. Like our actors that are in, we tell them we don't want them touching people. We just don't want that kind of scare. We want people to be as family friendly as it can be.
Yeah.
Although, there's animatronics, there's things popping out, there's voices and sounds and all kinds of noise. But it's a good scare. We don't want people touching people and have to worry about somebody getting a broken nose because somebody was overly scared. So it's a good scare. It's a good time, but we try to keep it as family friendly as we can. And we have kids that make it all the way through. And then we have ones that bail out, like they won't go in the basement. They get through the yard and they're like, I'm out.
I know when I was a kid doing it, that's what you want. That's what you hope for.
Yeah.
You want the person scream and go the other way.
Yeah. I don't know if we want that, but it does happen.
Well, not kids.
Yeah.
But like the adults. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
want them
have
to scream and go.
we have a
definitely
variety
treat
of
the older
yes.
ones differently
Yes.
when they come through.
Yeah, because Keith stands out front, so he's out front. He's our ringmaster, and he kind of because depending on the year,
More
you
like
either
crowd
go
control.
yeah,
anymore,
crowd
but
control. Yeah,
same
you either go
difference.
in the front door or you go in the breezeway between our home and our neighbor's home into the backyard. So it just depends on the year and the path of our haunted house determined. So we have to direct traffic because if not, they'll come in the front when we're going in the back. And
Right.
So we have to make sure we keep the flow going.
So I asked you the question, how many people you had that first year? Now, I know you haven't had it for a few years because of COVID, but the last time you had it was 2019 then?
Mhm.
Correct.
Do you know approximately how many people came through that year?
It was almost 800 that
Yep.
year.
8.
It was
Yeah.
700. It was 790 some folks.
We do keep a tally every
Yeah.
year.
And
just
and
to-
it was 6. And you go 6 to 9.
We do 6 to 9. Yeah.
yeah.
And you got that many people through
Yeah.
Yep.
in 3 hours.
Well, they come in carloads now, or at least they did. And our son Christian was at Elixon's Taekwondo in town. So in 2019, they brought a van full of students from the dojang to us as well. Because Christian is now a black belt there. But he was there. So at that time, Mr. Elixon, he's like, I brought them all for you, Kim. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many kids.
Which is great. We
Whoever
love
was in
it.
class that night got a trip to the Hagen's Haunted House
yeah.
to participate in the walkthrough. And we really enjoy it. And I think the neighborhood does too. Because when we started decorating outside this year,
Okay.
people would stop on the side street and they're yelling across the neighborhood, are you doing your haunted house?
They've been waiting,
Yeah,
huh?
they
Yeah.
have. They have.
That's
and
great.
we have this one older lady that comes, and hopefully she'll be there this year. She used to come with her daughter, and her husband used to come, but he had passed away.
Mhm.
And she came with her daughter. I don't like it, but I'm going to go through it every year in his memory.
Yeah.
So every
Oh,
year
that's
she
great.
comes
It
and
is
she
kinda
talks,
cool.
and it's so nice to kind of connect with people too in the community too as well.
Yeah. So I asked you at the beginning, you had a closet.
Yes.
What do you have now?
I'll let Keith answer that because I don't know the total.
We got 9 full rooms. We got 4 outdoor scenes and 65 animatronics this year that
Wow.
we're using.
And how many what do you call them? How many people do you have?
Our live
working for you?
actors?
Yeah, actors, that's it. Yeah.
Usually 10 to 14,
Yeah.
depending on the year.
Okay.
I think there's a dozen of us this year right in the middle. So
Wow.
yeah.
Where can people find the haunted house? Jill Diffendorfer is asking. If you don't want to give your number out, what street are you on in Boyertown?
We're on 3rd Street in Boyertown. You can't miss our house. It's the only one that's got skeletons climbing up the front of it. And the night of trick-or-treating, which is on Monday, the 31st, there's a big archway out front, and the
Yeah, I'm usually standing
Keith's
out there.
usually we usually block off the road a little bit just to try to keep it as safe as we can, because sometimes we have a little bit of a line just to make sure we're safe as we can be.
Any more questions, Matt?
No.
No.
Please come.
You
You're
guys,
welcome.
Yes, please come.
So I'm imagining with all the animatronics, it's a lot of electricity.
Yes,
you guys take
I-
donations to help with that, or
We do, and I upgraded to 200 amp. I don't know, 8 years ago or so, because I just couldn't run everything I wanted to run. So we're covered. ever in many 20 amp lines to compensate for. But
So who
hopefully I never moved.
who designs the scare rooms? Like who designs the?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make it. Kim decorates and paints most of the
Now,
stuff.
do you get these just from your head, or do you get them, or
Yeah.
do you look around and see what other places might be doing?
No, I got some artistic tendencies, so
Yeah.
it usually comes off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I like to create different scenes and different looks. So
When I was in middle school, we were doing this at my house, and I used to, instead of doing schoolwork like I was supposed to do, I'd be designing these rooms, coming up with ideas.
Yep. I'll jot something down when it crosses my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it takes a lot of work to come up with the ideas and everything like that.
Jill is asking how much money have you spent altogether on decorations?
Woo!
I don't
Way
know the
too
answer to that.
much. But I'm still happily married, so not enough to upset anybody.
Well, clearly it's a family affair, right?
It is a
Correct,
family
yeah.
affair. Yeah.
We enjoy it.
So is it just your son, or do you have?
We have a daughter.
Okay.
She recently got married in June. She lives down in King of Prussia. Her and her husband live in King of Prussia. They're coming up to do our haunted house. Now she's the opposite of Christian. She doesn't like Halloween. She doesn't like scary. She doesn't do scary movies. So we have a special spot for her in the haunted house. She kind of controls.
Here's a control room with multiple
Yeah, she
buttons
controls
and
the
things.
scares.
But she
Doesn't
still
have
wants to be a part of
She
it.
wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So she gets into her place and she stays in her place. And she always
Long before the
Yeah.
lights go out,
Long- yeah.
she's in place,
Yeah.
pushes some buttons all night, and that's what she does.
Yeah.
So so you're making these decorations too. I mean,
Yep.
I know you
All
have
year, usually.
animatronics that you buy, but you have to make a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
So who does that? Both of you?
usually me and Tina helps our daughter.
Okay.
And our other
And our pretend
our
daughter.
pretend daughter Jessica helps as well. We have a lot of the cousins in the family. We just refer to them as our children because they have been with us this whole time and they also go on vacation with us. So we kind of all participate. It's a great big adventure. And when we come up with an idea of what we want to make or how we want to make it, and we kind of brainstorm it out and then we create it. And okay, this is great. So we've done a couple of things where we've made things that we like. You see it and you're like, I think I can make that cheaper than we can buy.
Oh yeah.
And then so I have like
Almost
I have an
always.
eyeball plant that I made for when we had our witches room, and some spider cocoon things we've made with your own cobweb and stiffening fabric stiffener. So we just you see things and then you're like, I can make that better. We did the floating candles the one year. They were a lot of fun. It took a lot of time though. So we see things, we try to how can we incorporate them, and then we'll make them throughout the year. And we tend to buy all of our stuff post holiday, which makes it a little cheaper. And early in January you can get stuff like whatever the new season's going to be.
Yeah.
You can kind of get things and get the ball rolling.
Sometimes there's good ideas there too.
So one of the questions from the screen was from Jill Diffenderfer is what time, and you kind of covered this a little bit. When do you start putting everything together, and when do you start putting up the Halloween decorations?
I always start by August, but sometimes it's been as early as June, depending on what we want to do. So it only is ever down for 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
And usually we're still building something or planning something. So it never really ends for us.
Do you feel the excitement each year, or do you like, oh, we got to do this again?
No, it's exciting.
It's always
It's
exciting.
mostly exciting.
Yeah.
There are times when we are behind and then we, you
Yeah, you
feel
get stressed
rushed.
out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Generally it's exciting. We've learned to leave ourselves plenty of time and that helps too.
Yeah. And we were fortunate. We were unfortunate, and then we were fortunate. We put an addition on our home and it was bad, and the foundation was bad, and it was a nightmare. And we went through litigation and all that fun, and then we had to tear it down and rebuild it. So in that process, we had a basement. We had our basement extended. So extending the basement extended
Just
the
for
haunted
the
house.
haunted house.
So there's parts of the basement that we don't really break down. We kind of just move everything to the left and we stay on the right when we're going through the house.
Yeah.
So we've kind of, we made a good thing out of a bad thing.
So you designed your house for the haunted house.
The
that whole
addition, the whole
area, yeah.
basement. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Yep.
There's 5 rooms down there.
You're all in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, we are all in.
And it is a lot of fun for us
It is.
though.
We enjoy it.
So enjoy watching the reactions and
Yeah.
people saying they had a good time, and
And I want to mention this to the people watching again. This is free.
Yep.
Doesn't and the people coming through get treats at the end.
There is always
what it is?
candy.
There's always candy.
We don't stiff on our candy. Like I said, we get a lot of donations from friends, family, and the community. We actually had one of the ladies we work with donate a big bag of candy. So I tell my candy hander-outers, hand it out. Just, I don't want it here when it comes back, when it's the end of the night. So we hand out as much candy as we can. And
so not only they don't have to pay, but they get a
They
treat
get a
at the
treat,
end.
yeah.
The treat at the end.
Yes.
Perfect.
And a good show.
and a good
too.
show.
Yeah.
A good time.
There's a lot of detail in all our rooms. It's not
I am
just like a scare. There's a lot to see, a lot to enjoy. And that's how I try to create it, to be an experience and not just a hi.
Yeah,
that kind
don't
of
run
thing.
through it because you'll be back.
It's not just dark hallways.
No.
No.
People.
Rarely do we do pitch black
Yeah.
because you just can't see enough detail and kind of.
I'm gonna try to get my
what I
kids
do.
Yeah, that's
My kids are a little bit scaredy cats, but
Well, they might get through the yard.
yeah. If we can get them through the yard, that would be good enough for me, I think.
During the parade last weekend, we had a handful of people because we had our gate open because we had our party, and there was a young gentleman. I'm gonna say he was in his late mid-teens, and he was standing there looking down the breezeway. And I happened to come out to see if the parade was coming down the street yet, and I said, "Did you want to go through?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay, go ahead." And he's like, "Can I get my sisters?"
Yeah, he runs and gets home.
And I was like, "Sure."
As a
And then
setup.
he came back and there was like 10 of them. And I was like, "These are all your sisters?" And then they went through, and then they went back and got their parents, and then they went through, and then there was more. And I was, my father-in-law was like, "Kim, there's people in your house." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I couldn't resist. They were looking, and it's not quite the same parade night because not everything is set up and you don't have any of
It's
the
not.
live actors, but
Yeah.
they still got the idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be back on Halloween.
There's plenty there to
Yeah.
enjoy though.
Yeah.
Still, so.
I have a feeling you're gonna have plenty of people this Halloween.
That's what our fear was because we've been closed for 2 years. Like, will people remember us? Will they turn out? And
I think it's build up. They're like,
I say brace yourself.
Yeah.
and there seems like a lot of buzz already, and a
Yeah.
lot of people, neighborhood people, like
Yeah.
we cannot wait, which excites us. so.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You also got a write up in the Gilbertsville Living magazine, which
I
is a
did.
free magazine in the area. How was that? Did they interview you and take pictures and
They
Yeah,
did.
feel
yep.
like stars?
No, not yet.
It was a little different
It was a
though.
little different.
I was
They
like, you want to
did-
come see us?
Yeah, we were. Mr. Ellickson, I guess he had knew because they did a piece on the Ellickson Taekwondo a couple years ago. He had passed our name to them,
Okay.
and they had reached out to us just before COVID and said they wanted to do an interview the following year. So in 2020 they wanted to do it, but we didn't do anything. So we kind of put it off. So then when we decided we were going to do it this year, and we think we're able to keep it as safe as we can for the community, I reached out to them and I said, we're interested if you're interested. And it was literally like, yes. And then we got our interview, and then the photographer came out and she looked at everything and she was like, "Oh, you guys are serious." And I was like, "Yeah, Sharon, we're very serious." And she's like, "I don't think I was picturing this quite like this."
And how long ago was that?
That was in September.
Yes.
So she was only out. She was out before the backyard was done,
Uh-huh.
because we had just started like setting everything up and laying the backyard out, and she was just there she only saw the basement, so she didn't see the rest of it.
Right.
But she's coming out and she's bringing her family out on Halloween. So
Wow.
so yeah, that's
That's
how
usually
that
what
happened.
happens.
Yeah.
And then that person tells
Yeah.
somebody, and then before you know it, the next year there's 30 of just those family, which is cool.
Yeah.
Can
We
your
enjoy
kids
it.
handle it?
One of them can.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least one of them.
Zach's getting some marching orders. Desiree is saying it sounds amazing, and Zach, she's saying we. So we are totally taking the kids.
Awesome.
Nice.
I don't know who she is.
Well,
Yes.
whoever she is, she's taking your kids.
Definitely look forward to it.
Anybody else commenting
No,
right now? Okay.
We had some questions from Jill, and I just been hitting the like and the heart button. Just to remind people to hit that like and heart button while they're watching the show. It does help us out.
Absolutely. So is Halloween your favorite holiday? Because I know you mentioned at
Yeah,
the
I guess
beginning
it
that
is.
you get excited for every holiday.
We do.
do.
And I try not to pigeonhole to just one, but
yeah.
we definitely spend a lot more
You spend
time.
more time for sure.
do.
and effort
Yeah,
on Halloween than
we do.
all the others.
What's your second favorite?
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas and then Easter.
Yeah.
We really enjoy Easter too.
Yeah.
Cool.
We do
but
a
you
whole-
don't do anything special.
We do
For the
on Easter.
community?
We do a Hunger Games version of an Easter egg hunt, which is really interesting.
To the death.
No,
most
not
of the
quite.
kids
Okay.
live through it, so
They,
that's
Okay,
good.
they
that's
do they do tussle over the goodie bags sometimes.
But they're in full garb, costumes, the whole nine. So it's interesting as well.
Like Hunger
Yeah.
Games costumes.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So we do enjoy all
That's
the holidays.
thinking outside
we
the
really
box.
do.
I mean,
We really do.
And that all
I
started
don't even know
because
how you put the two together.
it just happened.
That's what they said the first year, and that's been going on
Yeah.
for 12 years.
Yeah,
or
we've been
so.
doing that for quite some time. We started with, you're doing your egg hunts, right? And then as the kids get older,
Yeah, how
They
do you
don't-
entertain them?
they don't always want to pick up the eggs or the candy. So you had to entice them. So we gave them like a scavenger hunt, and then we kind of grew it into our Hunger Games where you have to use some math. Keith comes up with some crazy formulas, and we put things inside of eggs you can break and give them a hammer and see if they can figure out that they have to use the hammer. So, all those things that kind of, to give them
It's
things
an
to do.
all-day
But
event.
it's an all day event, and
And,
we enjoy it. And
we get a lot of compliments and a lot of praise for that. too.
yeah.
So-
I like you too.
So all
I'll tell you
all
what,
holidays.
you guys-
That's why they call us
You're
the
always
holiday
interesting.
house.
we try hard.
So you got a lot of stuff going on for the holidays. Like it sounds like at least 2 holidays you got stuff going on. Your neighbors still like you?
We
Yeah,
we
amazingly.
have some great neighbors.
They all
That's
look
awesome.
forward to it, and they all talk about it all the
Yeah.
time. So
That's great.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Christmas, are you lighting up your house a lot or?
yeah, though we do most of our Christmas not at our house.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do play Mr. and Mrs. Claus for our family.
I know you're
and-
shocked.
I know you're shocked, right? But all that, we rent a fire hall the whole nine, so we don't have to do too
Oh,
much
man.
like
We have
at the
reindeer.
house.
All the young adults are reindeer.
Yep,
One
they-
year we did a skit.
they pull me in a sleigh.
Yep. In the fire hall.
This is great, man.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome.
This is really
Yeah.
serious stuff.
But it's great. And the kids enjoy it. And, they'll have memories to, hopefully pass along to their families.
So our storage shed is overflowing at this point. So
All right, so I'm gonna kind of end this on this question since I think you guys are experts. I believe you're experts in any holiday right now, but I'm gonna stick to Halloween.
Yep.
What's your favorite Halloween movie?
I would say Halloween with Michael Myers myself.
See, I don't like Halloween
Kim,
movies.
Kim doesn't really like the Halloween movies themselves.
That I was almost expecting that answer. I was hoping for that answer. That's
She'll watch them with me.
I watch them.
That's great.
but you'll scare other people. You sicko.
Yeah, I'm usually the floater, but this year I have a whole room to myself, so it'll be different because I usually float to make sure, but not this year.
Okay.
I have a whole room to
Cool.
to
Do you
scare.
want to say what's in the room, or do you not want to say?
I'm in the boat room,
Oh, the
so
boat.
if they
So-
find
and the boat room has been there.
it's been
for
there
a whole
for
year.
it's been there for like
A year
18
and a
months
half, yeah.
because we had to figure out how to put it together.
It's a cannibal island. I
Nice.
think people enjoy it. The people
Yeah.
that have been through our house many times, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's-
Nothing they've seen before.
I can't wait
so
to see the boat room.
It should be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boat room's the place. That's it. That's
That's
what
how you get
everybody's
out.
Going for.
That's how you get out. It's the
Guess
only
you
way.
gotta make
it
The
all the way.
only
Yeah.
way you can get out. You got to come through me.
Save the best for last.
So it's Hagen's. Did I say it right?
Hagen's.
Hagen's Haunted
Hagen's
House. yeah.
Haunted House on 3rd Street in Boyertown. Did you give an address, or is it just we're just saying 3rd Street? 3rd Street, you'll see it.
Yeah, it's right across from the Masonic
yeah.
building, so you
Okay.
can't miss it.
Yeah.
All right, and that is Halloween night. It's free from 6 to 9, and
Yeah.
you'll be
Yeah.
ready to scare some people, and people will be ready to get scared. I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And we'll have some candy. Even
Thanks
we
for
give
getting the
candy
word
to
out
adults.
for us too.
Absolutely.
I went online and found out that the borough of Boyertown's trick or treat hours are 6:30 to 8, and I have that up on the screen so people know when the general trick or treat hours are
Yep.
in the borough of
General.
Boyertown.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let me see. I had some Halloween trivia. Does anybody want to play? I can-
Sure.
I'll happily lose.
I probably will too. Keith probably win.
Okay.
Zach and I will be on a team.
Yeah. So for anyone that hasn't watched before, I have a website called Jeff Knows Boyertown. On that website, I have a blog that's called What's Going Down in Boyertown. And it's exactly that. It's an event page that tells you what's going down in Boyertown. So I have easily over 100 events each week. And that has grown since the pandemic. I started it in 2020 after the pandemic. I was just trying to get people to realize there's still stuff that you can do.
Sure.
And safe stuff, and there was some not so safe stuff, but there was still stuff you could do, you know, and I just wanted to help the businesses. I wanted to help whatever I could. So I started this event blog, and it has grown hugely. You know, now, I mean, like it's easily 100 events each week, no matter if there's a holiday or not.
When I searched for
That's cool.
Boyertown Halloween, I
Mhm.
searched Boyertown Halloween hours.
Right?
Jeff Knows Boyertown blog was the first thing.
Cool.
It pops
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
you're doing good.
All right.
That's how I found you.
So, so I always highlight something. Actually, I'm just going to put a ghost story up, I think, for this Halloween, for this week's blog. But I'm going to have some of these trivia questions too. I think it's always fun to play trivia, and there's so many events happening, which we'll get to in just a minute. But so let me ask you, the experts. Zach, you can chime in too. You don't think you're going to know any of the
I'll
answers
happily
anyway.
lose, like I said.
Okay.
Zach and I will be on the same team. Keith will be on his own team.
No.
You talked about the movie Halloween as one of your favorite movies. Let me ask you this. Do you know, so they got the mask from a Halloween store and they altered it. They painted it white.
Yeah.
They cut out
William
the eyes a little bit.
Shatner.
Well, he knows it. Specifically Captain Kirk. It wasn't William Shatner, but that's who it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. All right. You knew that was too easy, huh? All right. Let me see. Here's a general question. Does anybody know what a black cat, if you see a black cat on Halloween, what that black cat is thought to be?
Don't
Witch.
think a witch? You think?
Going with which?
Sure.
You're right. That's 2 for 2. Ding,
All
ding,
right.
ding, ding. Awesome.
Made the most logical sense to me.
Okay, let me ask you this one. This is because I never heard this one at all. What does finding a spider on Halloween mean?
Ooh.
Spider. You got me.
Is that a good thing? Is that good luck, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, in some places it's good luck, but I'm asking. It actually means something.
No.
No idea. Yeah.
No.
It means that a loved one is watching over you. Like that spider is a loved one.
Ah.
Watching
Oh, it's like
over
a
you.
cardinal, but a spider
Is that
on
what it is?
Halloween. Hmm.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Loved one with 8 arms.
We'll go back
Maybe
to
it's love.
we'll go back to the movie Halloween. Do you know what they use to make the stabbing sound effect, like stabbing a person in Halloween? The movie Halloween.
How about something in the Jello, something like that?
Stabbing a watermelon.
Okay, makes sense.
It does make sense, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it gets that thick.
You can think,
Yeah.
yeah, you can picture
Not that
it.
I've stabbed anybody before.
Not I either.
Well, there's withdrawal. No, next time. Now, thanks.
Here's maybe this is just kind of general history knowledge, maybe.
Right.
What famous person passed away on Halloween?
Ooh.
Ooh.
And
Can't
if-
be just one.
no, I'm sure there's many. there's a famous person. I can give you a date if you want. Does that help? 1926.
I was
Do
gonna
you
say-
know?
I was going to say Vincent Price, but
No.
it could
yeah.
have been him. No, I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I haven't known, except for Shatner. I didn't know anything.
Harry Houdini.
Oh,
I didn't know he died on Halloween.
Oh, I think I
love
did
Houdini.
know that.
Yeah.
Now that you say that.
Huh.
Yeah, right. How often does a full moon fall on Halloween?
Not often enough. Any idea?
Once every-
You can just throw in
Is
38
every 10
years.
years?
38, 10.
Let's go with 16.
You are so close. 19 years. Every 19 years. And not
It's
only
upside down.
does it just come out every 19 years, but every time it comes on Halloween, it's a blue moon.
So it does come
It's a
every
blue moon
38
because it's a
years,
se-
too,
right
then.
because it's the second full moon of the month. That
actually
makes
it
sense.
does.
And let me see what else we have here. Do you know what was originally used as a jack-o'-lantern before they brought Before Halloween came over to America, and they started carving pumpkins.
I know this one.
What did they carve prior to that in Europe?
Europe.
Is it some kind of squash? Is it like
I don't know. I'm
It's
curious
a
to see.
potato.
That's right.
It actually, you're actually correct. It says here it's turnip, but it was
Yeah.
turnip or potato.
So it was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't watch that movie. Never mind.
Did someone carve a potato in a movie?
No, there's a movie on Netflix. It's like a cutesy Halloween movie, but the creature was carved in a turnip
Oh, okay.
instead
there you
of a
go.
pumpkin.
There you go.
Makes
What is
sense.
okay, here's some general questions, pop culture kind of. What is the most searched Halloween costume this year?
This year?
Oh, it might be. This is a new Halloween movie, isn't it? Probably Michael Myers.
There is a new Halloween
Oh,
movie.
There is a new
Yeah.
Halloween. You're right.
Stranger Things is popular.
Little Mermaid. I'm serious. Little Mermaid. It's
Okay.
gotta be that, or like
I mean, it's
Frozen.
possible.
Little Mermaid didn't come out this
Elsa?
year.
Yeah, but they have the new Black Little Mermaid.
Do they? I
maybe
didn't even know.
Maybe that created a buzz.
A
I'm
new
going-
Maybe.
buzz.
Okay, go with it.
I'm sticking with Little
Stick to your
Mermaid.
guns. Yeah. And you went with what?
Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
You stick it. You
I'll
go
go
with
with
that too?
Sam.
Sam? Oh,
Yeah.
I was going
Sam
to
the-
mine.
Yeah, there's a bag on his
Yeah,
head.
bag
The burlap
bag,
Sam? Yeah. I just watched that movie for the first time.
I heard it's okay for kids. Is that true?
Mm.
I would say young
Teenager.
teens you
Okay.
could. I wouldn't do under 10.
Okay.
Maybe like 12 you could get away with it.
And that's the experts talking right now.
There you go.
Do you have a
I
guess?
was gonna say Sam. Let's say witches because the new Hocus Pocus movie came out.
Bam!
Nice.
You get it.
Right.
Which is the number one costume this year? The number one search costume. Spider-Man is second.
That
Dinosaurs,
makes sense.
I'm not even close.
or any dinosaur. Stranger Things, which you brought up, and Fairy, which.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah.
I love those dinosaur costumes with the little hands.
What is the most popular Halloween candy?
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Everybody good with
I'm the
that?
only weirdo that likes candy corn. So that's
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I call
That is
it.
guaranteed not the answer.
I call
Yeah.
it candy crack.
I'm sticking. I like candy
I'd take
corn.
a
so I
Snickers
want it
over
to be-
that any day.
Actually, M&M's,
M&Ms.
but followed by Reese's. Closely followed by Reese's.
Hmm.
All right. I think
Guess we
we're
gotta get some
running
more
low on
M&Ms.
time here, so I think we're going to
Yeah.
wrap things up.
I have a couple.
Let me see if there's anything interesting I have written down here. I found this to be interesting, Matt. I don't know if you. I found this interesting, but the Simpsons have a yearly Halloween special.
They do.
And the first few years, they actually had Marge Simpson break the fourth wall and tell everybody that it could be scary for some viewers because the producers thought it was just too scary, and so they made her do that for the first few
I
years.
do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would kind of pop up.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, Simpsons Halloween.
Yeah, the producers were like, "Ah, it's too scary."
Was Marge the first character to break the fourth wall?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
Okay.
It's a good question though.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's next week's trivia question.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a setup.
All right, so like I said, I have events page. It's called What's Going Down in Boyertown. You can find it at jeffknowsboyertown.com. I'm just going to pop out a couple of the many events. There's the October Wine Walk in Boyertown this Friday from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. It's called Pick Your Poison. You can walk around, you go into different businesses in Boyertown, and they'll have wine and be serving some food, some hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. They're also doing a costume contest with that and a hayride. I don't exactly know how they're doing a hayride. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
The
Drink some
walk's
wine,
always
jump on a
great.
hayride.
The wine walk is always a good time.
Yeah. The Peppermint Stick Candy Store is doing their Friday Fright Nights all October long, where they turn out the lights and you get a little spooky in the candy store. You get your kids all sugared up on candy and
Send 'em
Sundays and stuff like that. And the State Theater is doing something special this week. They still have Halloween playing, the new Halloween playing until tomorrow night, Thursday night, and then they're starting what movie? Black Adam. It's starting on Friday. But for the holiday weekend, for the Halloween weekend, At 10 o'clock on Friday night, they're doing Beetlejuice. They're playing Beetlejuice.
Awesome.
That's a good movie.
And then on Saturday night at 10 o'clock, they're doing The Thing, which I never saw The Thing. Did you ever see it?
I have not.
The original, yeah.
It's a good. Even the remake with Kirk Douglas. Is
Yeah,
pretty good
that
too.
is actually good too. He's right.
They're both good. The original is one of the first horror movies I ever watched. It came on really late one time around Halloween time, and my dad let me stay up to watch it. I had to take a nap in the afternoon. So this is how young I was.
Yeah.
So that I could stay up and watch The Thing at night. It was one of the first horror movies I ever watched. And it's a great movie. And then the remake with Kirk Douglas is excellent. It's different than the original, but
still good.
It's still good. Yeah.
Cool.
Those are great Halloween movies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Matt is saying he's endorsing it. He said, go to the State Theater this Saturday and check out The Thing. Friday night, Beetlejuice, which is a classic. I mean, my kids love it. I love it. How can you not love it?
How can you? Yeah. That's
All
what I was
right.
gonna say. Beetlejuice is great.
So, Matt, I think we're wrapping things up. Zach, I think we're wrapping things up. So I just first of all, I want to thank you guys. Thank you,
Thank
Kim
you.
Thank you for
and
having us.
Keith. See, I did
Finally,
that.
You got it right.
Went
I
with
didn't
the
have to
name,
switch.
right? Thank you for coming on. Tell us about your haunted house. I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm definitely going to try to get there. Zach, thank you for talking about your nonprofit charity, and welcome to Glocker, and hopefully you get lots of sales and people call you and your phone's ringing off the hook.
Hopefully.
Awesome. So next week we will not have a show. We'll be off next week. So there will be no live show next week, but we will be back on November 9th. And so Matt, would you like to say anything? I'll give the mic to the voice over here.
You can tune into my other podcast tomorrow night at 6:00 on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate or YouTube. Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube or Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. We're going to be talking to the folks from the Pottstown cluster of religious communities. We're going to be talking about the community meal program, some of the pros and cons, and we're also going to be covering some of the information about the churches that got cited for putting on the community meal and what the response to that has been from the community. So tune in tomorrow to learn about what's going down in Pottstown on Porchcast Pottstown.
All right. And Zach, do you have anything else to shout out?
No, just check out the Tyler's Ride Facebook page or the event page. Go to cricketcomedy.com, get those tickets, and I'll see you guys all there. If you want anything to know more about me as far as real estate is concerned, catch me there and we can talk.
Awesome.
That's cool.
And Kim and Keith, anything to shout out before we go?
Yeah, just come see us on Halloween night, 6 to 9. We can't wait. We're excited to see everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be great.
Well, awesome. And we'll see you. Have a happy Halloween, everybody. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right? And I'm going to play the outro. So stay tuned for the outro. There's going to be some follow-up information for people that waited till the last minute to copy down any information. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you.
Don't forget, folks, we really do need you to subscribe on YouTube. Share the show out to your friends and help us spread the word about